Hey everyone, Charlene Ortiz here. I wanted to do a quick video because I wanted to talk about a question that has probably been the most popular question people have asked me for the past 20 years I've been a trainer, or even the past 23 years that I've been exercising pretty much every single day. And that question is, how do you keep yourself motivated to exercise every single day? And how have I been able to do that for 23 years? Especially dealing with chronic pain and dealing with this pain every single day. And so first I want to go back to when I first started, and the moment that I knew that I needed to make a change and that I was going to do something about it. So for those of you that haven't watched any of my videos, real quickly, I just want to talk a little bit about some of my history where when I was 11 years old, I had a pancreatic tumor, and part of my pancreas had to be removed, as well as my gallbladder, part of my small intestine, part of my large intestine, and I had to kind of be rearranged. It's called a Whipple procedure, and that was when I was 11. And then after that, for several years into my teens, I suffered from a lot of digestive problems. I really suffered or struggled to try to keep my weight up, which a lot of people might see that as a blessing, but it was not, because the fact that I was often underweight made me very sickly, very weak, very frail. So it definitely was nothing great about that at all. And so, so throughout my teenage years, I did struggle with some health challenges. But at the age of 18, for whatever reason, I just got hit really hard with a lot of the issues that I was dealing with, and I ended up getting very sick. And without getting into too many details to make this too long, I lost a lot of weight, and again, I became very sickly. I was in pain all the time, and it was a really difficult time period that I went through, especially at the age of 18, where you're supposed to be the prime of your life, where you're supposed to have tons of energy and vitality and resilience and all that stuff, and that just wasn't me. And so I remember one day a friend of mine had asked me if I wanted to go to the gym, and I said sure, I'll go. And I wasn't somebody that really was into exercise or knew anything about gyms or what have you, hadn't really been around them. And so I went to the gym with him, and he mostly did his workout. I didn't really do anything. I just kind of hung out. And I remember noticing this woman when I was there, and she was doing an overhead tricep exercise, and she was holding a 15-pound free weight. And at that time, that just seemed absolutely impossible to me. That how could a woman be that strong, or she could lift that much weight? Because to me, from my viewpoint, because I was so sick and I was so weak and fragile, that was a lot of weight. And I remember just thinking this woman looked absolutely amazing. She was muscular, she was a little thicker, not too much so, she wasn't like bodybuilder type or anything like that, but she definitely had a very, very strong and impressive physique. And I remember just looking at that woman and being in awe of how incredibly strong and powerful she looked. And at that moment, I told myself, I'm going to be like her someday. I'm not going to be like this forever. I refuse to be sick. I refuse to have a life where I'm going to have to struggle with this for the rest of my life. So about 6 months later, and I had no idea how to start. So even though I made that decision, I didn't really do anything about it immediately, because I didn't really know where to start or what to do. And so I was at the store with my mom one day, and at that time I was really into supermodels. There was a lot of supermodels that I like to look at in magazines and stuff like that, and just admire how beautiful they were. And I think a lot of young teenage girls probably do. And so one supermodel that I absolutely adored was Cindy Crawford. And she was someone that I thought was so stunningly beautiful, because number one, she was brunette, and number two, she had a body. She was thicker. She didn't meet the typical Kate Moss, sickly, anorexic, frail looking type of model, which I've always thought was so unattractive, and to be quite frank, ugly. I don't think that's attractive at all. I've always thought that was such an ugly look. And she did not meet that typical stereotype, you know, of what a lot of supermodels represented. And I just love the fact that she looked so healthy and strong and thick and beautiful and voluptuous. And so I loved her so much that I would flip through magazines, and when I would see pictures of her, I would cut them out and I would put them in this binder that I had that was dedicated to her, and I would just look through it and be like, oh my God, like, she's so beautiful. How is someone that beautiful? And I still think she's beautiful to this day. I mean, I don't cut out pictures of her anymore or anything like that, but I still think she's beautiful. I'd love to meet her someday. But anyway, at that time, I just absolutely adored Cindy Crawford. Well, I was at the store one day with my mom, and lo and behold, I walked past a display of videotapes, because at the time, this is videotapes, this is in the 90s, and it was a display of videotapes of exercise video that she had done, and I was ecstatic because I had no idea that she did an exercise video. So here I was, you know, wanting to start an exercise program, had no idea how to do it. And here's my idol, this woman that I absolutely had so much admiration for, with an exercise video. So, you know, the choice was obvious to me at the time. So my mom got it for me, and I started doing it right away. I think the next day I immediately started watching the tape. And so she had, the way her tape was, she had like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday workout, and then like a Tuesday, Thursday workout, and her trainer was there with her in the video, and she had free weights that she used as well, and I had 3 pounds that I used at that time. And those 3 pounds, let me tell you, were incredibly challenging for me. And I remember the first few days that I did her workout, it was so painful, so uncomfortable, and so exhausting. I actually even debated in my mind, God, is it really worth this much pain for me to, you know, want to achieve the health and the fitness that I dream of? And I did ponder that, like, God, is it really worth this pain? Well, regardless, I still pushed through, you know, and I pushed through the pain, the discomfort, the soreness that I felt the next day. And as time went on, as the weeks, the months went on, I started to get stronger and I started to feel better. And then another defining moment came when I had gone to spring break with some of my friends, and we were obviously taking pictures, and it was 35 millimeter cameras. That's what we used at that time. And so one of my friends had developed the film a few weeks after we'd gotten back from spring break, and we sat down to look at the pictures. You know, a lot of them I didn't remember because I was so drunk during that spring break. But anyways, good memories, good times. But anyway, so I was looking at one of the pictures of me and a couple other of my friends, and I was wearing a pair of shorts. And I remember I could see just a very subtle line of definition in my quadricep muscle. And I was so ecstatic because my legs didn't look like these stick straight chicken legs, you know, with no shape, no nothing to it. I actually had some muscle, and my legs were actually starting to look a little thicker. And I was ecstatic. And that was another turning point for me that really confirmed I am definitely going to be committed to this for the rest of my life, no matter what. And it was a conscious decision that I had made. And even though I initially didn't know how I was going to start, I knew what I wanted. And I had decided that there was no other option. I was going to figure out how to get strong. I was going to figure out how to get healthy. I was going to achieve these goals no matter what. And so as the years went on, a lot of my digestive problems started to go away, and I felt great. I felt strong. I felt healthy. Then I joined a gym at the age of 22, and that's when I started working as a trainer. And I had access, you know, to a lot more weights and equipment, heavier weights and cables and stuff like that. So I continued to get stronger and grow. And I moved on from my Cindy Crawford workout, even though I'll always forever be grateful to that videotape. But I moved on, to other things and learned a lot more, and the rest is history, from that point on, in terms of, just the level of fitness and strength, and how I was able to get where I am today. Well, in my early to mid 20s, was definitely the strongest years of my life. And again, I was incredibly resilient. I was biking every day. I was learning how to swim. I was never a strong swimmer. And I was running because I actually wanted to be in a triathlon. I was working full time. I was going to school full time. And I was invincible. At least that's how I felt. I felt like I was completely invincible. Then at the age of 25 is when I got into my first really bad car accident. And then a year later, I got into another one at the age of 26. And I talk about all this in my very first video I did, so that's why I'm not getting into too much detail about it. But after the second car accident, that was a huge setback for me. And I wasn't able to work out or even work for a while. I lost a lot of strength. I was injured. I was in pain. I had back injuries now that I never had to deal with before. And so, I kind of had to revisit, those days of when I was 18 and make that decision again, that I'm not going to let this stop me, from pushing forward and continuing to be committed, to my health. And then several years later, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And again, that's all another story in itself. But so throughout the years, I've definitely hit some major roadblocks, in terms of my health and my ability to stay fit and my ability to stay committed to an exercise program. I've hit a lot of roadblocks, and it hasn't been easy. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't like exercise. I actually hate exercise. But I do it because of the result. I do it because of what I know I'm going to be able to achieve. And I know that if I live in a body that is strong and healthy, that I'm going to be able to live my life to the full. Because if you don't have a healthy body, if you have a body that is weak, has no energy, is sick, that is in pain, I don't care how much money you have, I don't care how many friends you have, I don't care how great everything in your external life is, you're not going to enjoy it. And that's why I always say at the end of my videos, your health is your most valuable asset, because it really is. Without your health, you really have nothing. And you can't enjoy your life because your body is a vessel you can't escape, and it's kind of like the analogy that I tell my clients or people that I work with in terms of staying motivated and really committing to an exercise program for the rest of their life is that if you're driving around, in a car that's kind of broken down and old and doesn't look very good, and someone told you, if you invested 30 to 45 minutes a day or 4 to 5 days a week into working on this car, and this car will all of a sudden become the beautiful luxury BMW or whatever, would you be willing to invest that time into working on your car if you knew what to do so that it could become this beautiful, luxurious car? I think most of us would. I don't know anybody that wouldn't invest that kind of time and energy to turn your old, beat up car into this, nice, newer version that runs much better, has a lot more power, looks better, leather interior, Bluetooth, all that stuff. Who wouldn't do that? And how much more important is your body than your car? Because even your car, you can leave. Even your car, you can step out of, but your body, you cannot. You cannot escape your own body. And so that's why, you really have to weigh out, for those of you that are having a really hard time motivating yourself and getting started on a workout program, and maybe your energy levels are really low, or you're just not happy with what your body looks like or how it feels. Maybe you deal with chronic illness and pain like I do. You really have to weigh out, how much is it worth to me, to subject myself to a temporary pain, for 30 to 45 minutes a day or 4 to 5 days a week, as opposed to living a life of pain that's going to continue to get worse. It's inevitable that if you do suffer from any type of pain or any type of health condition, whether it's diabetes or heart disease or high cholesterol or high blood pressure or fibromyalgia like I do, or even orthopedic problems, problems with your knees or your hips. If you don't take care of yourself and you don't exercise, it's going to progress. It's inevitable. It's going to get worse. And there's no doubt about it. And if you're on any medications right now trying to regulate these conditions, as you get older, you're just going to have to take more, stronger doses, and eventually the medication won't be enough. Maybe some of you are at that point already where the medication's not enough. And it's inevitable. It's just going to progressively get worse. So is it worth it for you to go through, that temporary discomfort every single day to live a life that has a lot less pain, or even pain-free if you're able to achieve that, even a life that's pain-free that you can enjoy in a body that you feel good in, and even in a body that looks better, because even the aesthetic aspect of exercise is really a bonus. It's really kind of just an added bonus on top of all the other benefits that you experience when you exercise, you take care of yourself, and you're feeding your body, nutrient-dense foods. And so for me, it is a conscious effort that I make every day, even though I don't enjoy it, and I do feel a physical pain that a lot of other people don't experience because of my fibromyalgia, my back injuries. A lot of people don't have to push through the pain. I have to push through every day, and it's hard. It's really hard, and there are a lot of days I really don't want to do it. But again, I think about the end result as opposed to that temporary pain at that time. I think about what I'm going to be able to accomplish, and I think about the fact that if I can push myself, to do this, this activity, for myself, I do it for an hour, maybe two if I'm doing weights. But that's me personally. I've been doing this for a long time. But is it going to be worth it to me to push myself through that pain, for the short time period, to enjoy my day 100 times better than if I didn't push myself through it? And again, I started with 3 pounds. In the beginning, it was incredibly difficult for me that I even weighed out if it was worth it. And now, obviously, I've developed a lot more strength. I'm in a much different position than I was, 23 years ago. But for me personally, thinking of going back to where I was, is so much more painful than the pain that I subject myself to in my workouts every single day. And so, so for those of you that think that, it comes easy for people who are healthy, who are fit, that's definitely not the case. There are people that really do like exercise, and I always joke and say they must have some kind of mental illness, but I'm kidding. But I don't get it. I don't like exercise. I've never enjoyed it. No matter what exercise I've tried, I've never really enjoyed exercise. But again, I enjoy the benefits. I enjoy, what I'm going to be able to achieve when I'm done. And that's really, when it comes to anything good that we were able to experience in life, there's going to be certain sacrifices, discomforts, emotional, physical pain, whatever, a certain discipline that we're going to have to implement into our lives in order to achieve our, what we want to achieve. Like college, nobody likes to study. Nobody really likes to go to lecture. But, ultimately you're going to get this degree and go on to have a good job. I mean, depending on what degree you get. But most likely go on to get a better job and have a good life. So you're not thinking about, oh, I hate, sitting here studying. You think about, I'm going to accomplish this goal. And because of that, this temporary discipline is going to contribute to a lifetime of better financial success, and it's the same with anything else in life. So, but anyway, guys, I hope that answers your question. Again, there's just no secret. There's really no, secret formula or anything that I can tell you. It's just a conscious decision that I make every single day. And it's, I just have to make a choice. Do I want a lifetime of pain and discomfort where I'm going to continue to get worse, or a temporary pain and discomfort where I can enjoy my life to the full in a body that is functioning at its optimal potential? Even with the pain that I deal with now, it still is worth it. It really is worth it, to be able to live in a body that is strong and healthy and capable, And I feel a tremendous amount of freedom being healthy. There's no greater freedom than living in a healthy body. I mean, there really isn't, you know. So okay guys, well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, if you have any questions or any other questions, definitely, you know, don't hesitate to comment below. And if there's anything else you'd like to know about my own personal workout and how I motivate myself to do it every single day. But so this week I'm going to be doing step 3 on how to improve your nutrition. I'm going to be doing a stretching video too, a full body stretch for you guys, so that you can have some kind of stretches to do after your workouts. You know, if you've been doing the full body circuit workouts, hopefully you guys have been doing that, or at least practicing some of the basic exercise videos that I've done so far. So, okay guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I always appreciate your time and attention. And remember, take care of yourselves, protect yourself physically and emotionally, and don't forget, your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it. Bye-bye.